The Galaxy S23 Ultra has a camera feature that many of you may not know about. Even though it's been out for a while for older Galaxy smartphones like the S22 series, it's called Camera Assistant and it offers more control over the Galaxy S23 Ultra's camera. In this video, I'll cover how to get Camera Assistant, what it can do, and why you should check it out. But before we get started, I want to show you an accessory from this video's sponsor that you might want to consider picking up if you just grabbed a Galaxy S23. This is the Anker 313 45-watt charging brick. And since Samsung is no longer including a brick in the box, it's a great idea to pick one of these up. Currently, it's only $30, which is much cheaper than Samsung's version, which cost around $45. It's also 30% smaller than Samsung's 45-watt charger, thanks to the 313's folding design. This makes it easy to travel with. The Anker 313 supports Samsung's super fast 45-watt charging, meaning that you'll get peak power. It's powered by GaN technology, which makes it more efficient with better heat dissipation while maintaining its compact size. It also uses multi-protect technology that safeguards the Galaxy S23 Ultra with over-voltage protection, current regulation, and over-temperature protection, which ultimately slows down battery degradation, which is something that we all have experienced. Additionally, there's the Anker 312 Ace 25-watt charger, which costs only $15. It works great for charging the Galaxy S23 or other Galaxy smartphones, but you can also charge the Galaxy Watch, tablets, and more. If you're interested in picking up one of these charging bricks, I'll leave links down in the description, that way you can check them out yourself. Alright, so let's start with how to get Camera Assistant. Go in the Galaxy store and do a search for Camera Assistant. It should pop up at the top, but just in case, make sure the one you download looks like this and it comes from Good Lock Labs. Once you download it, you have 3 different ways you can access it. First is inside of Good Lock under the Life Up tab. Second is just by tapping on the Camera Assistant app located either on your home screen or your app drawer, depending on how you have your phone set up. Third is inside of the camera app. You'll find it inside of the main settings, almost at the very bottom. Just tap on Camera Assistant. Now let's go over what you can do with Camera Assistant and why you might want to do it, beginning with the very first option, which is Auto HDR. As the name implies, it allows you to toggle off Auto HDR. To be honest, there's not too many reasons why I would disable this. Samsung tends to do a pretty good job with their HDR algorithms, and if you tend to take pictures of things with a lot of sky coverage combined with shaded areas, you'll definitely want to leave this on. However, sometimes the HDR processing can be overly aggressive to say the least and cause skin tones to look a bit strange, if not just orange. If this happens, you could try toggling Auto HDR off and see if this helps. Next up, we have picture softening. If you don't like how over-sharpened your photos come out and prefer a more natural look, this setting is for you. You have 3 different options, which include off, medium, and high. The results are quite impressive. I find medium to be the sweet spot between over-sharpened and a little too smooth for my liking. The great thing is you can always choose high and then apply sharpening in post. Even when taking pictures of faces, the picture softening feature works great. Just be careful when choosing high, since it can potentially make skin look a little too waxy, especially if you combine it with beauty mode. Auto lens switching is another nice feature to have control over. By default, this is turned on, and it allows your phone to choose what lens to use based on zoom, lighting, and distance. For instance, when using the telephoto camera in low light, it will automatically switch to the main camera and then use a digital crop or digital zoom, which is supposed to give better results since that sensor is bigger, but that's not always the case. If you disable auto lens switching, it will prevent these things from happening, giving you more control over your shots. Next up, we have quick tap shutter, which will significantly reduce shutter lag. In short, it will take the photo as soon as you tap the shutter button versus waiting for you to lift your finger from the shutter button. Personally, I suggest turning on this setting and then just leaving it on. It will make a huge difference when it comes to getting action shots. If you combine quick tap shutter with the next setting, which is capture speed, you can get really fast results. Going into the capture speed setting, we have 5 different options. For regular resolutions, we have prioritize quality, then we have balanced speed and quality, and then we have prioritize speed. For high resolutions, we have prioritize quality and then prioritize speed. In my testing, I didn't find these things to have a huge impact on shutter lag as much as quick tap shutter. In fact, I found these settings to mostly impact the amount of time the camera must process the image after you've taken it. So unless you're taking a ton of photos in a very short period, I suggest leaving these settings alone. If you do decide to tinker with them, the balanced option is as far as I would go, as anything with speed can degrade images pretty bad. The next setting is video recording in photo mode. It's pretty self-explanatory. By default, if you're in photo mode and hold down the shutter, it will start recording a video. To stop recording, just lift your finger off of the shutter button. If you want to continuously record, just slide your finger to the little lock icon and then it will lock video recording. Unfortunately, it only records video in 1080p, which might be fine for some people, but for me, I'd rather just toggle this off and use video mode. Setting a timer to take a picture is great and super useful, but sometimes I wish it would take more than one photo. This way I can choose the best shot and do different poses. Well, now we can. Underneath video recording in photo mode, we have timer multi-photo options. Tapping on this brings up the option to choose between 1, 3, 5, and 7 photos. Once you select something other than the default setting, you could choose the interval timer between each photo, starting at 1 second and going up to 3 seconds in half-second increments. This is a feature I know many of you are really going to enjoy, so have fun messing with this. The next setting that I want to go over is camera timeout, and basically this is the duration that your camera will stay open. Personally, I'm just going to leave it at 2 minutes. You could adjust it to whatever you want though, so if you want to keep your camera open, say your phone's on a tripod for an extended period of time, just until you can find that shot that you've been looking for, you can increase that duration to 10 minutes. Otherwise, I would probably suggest just leaving it at 2 because it will save your battery. Plus, there won't be any accidental presses of the shutter button or accidentally recording a video when the phone's in your pocket, say you forgot to lock your phone. Next up, we have dim screen while recording. This will be super useful for those times where you're recording in darker environments. An example of this would be at a concert or a school event where you don't want to blind everyone around you with your display. This way you can remain as discreet as possible while still capturing all the memories that you want to. Just remember to turn it off if you start recording again in bright situations. Otherwise, you may not be able to make out what is on your screen and see what you're recording. The last thing I want to talk about is clean preview on HDMI displays. This is a feature that I love the most. What it does is it allows you to get a clean HDMI signal with no camera settings or phone buttons while using an external monitor with the camera app. But you might be wondering,
why would I want to do this?
Let's say I was recording a video in 8K 24 frames per second using Pro Video mode and I wanted to dial in my own settings correctly. I can attach a cheap monitor like this one from OC, which is around $120. Now I have a bigger view of what I'm filming with no obstructions. On top of that, I can use tools like false color, focus peaking, anamorphic D-squeeze, different scopes, and more in order to expose, focus, and frame my shot perfectly. You can also use this same setup when recording in the standard video mode, so that way you can frame yourself using the rear cameras and then vlog in 8K on your Galaxy device. Of course, this is the basic way of using this setting. You can also take things up a notch by investing in something like the CMO from Axum. I have the Android and Apple versions right here. Typically, you would use the CMO with a regular mirrorless or DSLR camera since it turns your smartphone into a camera monitor thanks to the Axum C app. However, we can replace the mirrorless camera with the Galaxy S23 Ultra, and now we can use the iPhone 14 Pro Max and its beautiful Pro XDR display as a camera monitor for the Galaxy S23 Ultra. Or we could use the Android version and then use a Galaxy Tab S8 Ultra as a camera monitor for the Galaxy S23 Ultra. A lot of stuff that you could do here, but that's just scratching the surface. Since the Axum CMO is more or less a glorified HDMI converter when used with the Axum C app, we can connect the Galaxy S23 Ultra to, say, something like an iPad Pro, and now we could use DeX on the iPad. For more functionality, you can connect a Bluetooth mouse and keyboard to the S23 Ultra, and it works perfectly. Another benefit to the clean HDMI out setting is for live streaming, which can also be done directly from the Axum C app while using a separate phone as a monitor. or you could always just connect it to your computer. There's a lot of awesome stuff that can be done thanks to that clean HDMI signal combined with the Axon C mode or other attachments. Let me know if you have any questions and I'll try to answer them ASAP. Okay, so there you go. That was a look at the Camera Assistant extension and everything that you can do with it. Hopefully you found this video useful. If you did, please consider giving this video a thumbs up. Subscribe for more videos just like this, and I'll see you beautiful people in the next one.